On this week's show, these two fuckers compare one sizes.
Keith harps on about how Jessica Jones would be better if we had better costumes, because apparently costumes maketh the superhero.
And Gareth goes on about how he loves a good ride.
Stay tuned!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gamers, geezers, geeks, wizards, superheroes, international people who deal with aliens, legal aliens, that is, and alien aliens, that is, and that's not xenomorph aliens, that's other type of aliens. Theme park aficionados, people who like Tom Holland, people who like watching YouTubers live on stage somewhere at Wembley, and wizards again. It's this week's Monkey Nut Punch podcast. And always on these podcasting journeys, I've got a man, the myth, the legend. It's Captain Birdseye. It's Nigel. Say hello, Nigel.
Army hearties. Hi.
And a man who gets a butthole confused with a black hole. It's Keith.
I can attest to that.
He'd stick his dick in a... It's kind of a guy who sticks his dick into a singularity and then worries about spaghettification. It's long! Yeah, it's half a centimetre wide.
You've described a pencil.
Knob gag.
Hello, people.
Okay, Alright, on this week's show, we'll be talking about Jessica Jones via Keith's magical opinions. Nigel wants to be talking about Men in Black. I want to be talking about theme parks and Galaxy's Edge and what the hell's happened to it. Then we got Tom Holland embarrasses himself. I saw Dan TDM live at Wembley Arena and I always want to describe the experience to the others. And then I want to talk about Wizards Unite and how the fact that Nigel didn't friend me until a moment ago. Bastard.
Lame.
Okay. Alright, so Netflix, Jessica Jones, the last of the Netflix series.
Yeah. I watched it. It was it was better than the second series, in my opinion.
How was it better than the second series? The first part of the second series was interesting.
Yeah, but then it filtered out, whereas this kind of the other way around. So the first part of it's a bit boring, but it gets interesting after the third or fourth episode. They fucked it up. Again, it's way too long. You had that almost decent sort of cliffhanger at the end of the first episode, and then we got an entire second episode just focused on Trish, who everybody hates. But she gets a comeuppance at the end. So, yes, that was actually quite satisfying. Because the second series ending is really unsatisfying because Trish is a bitch and everybody's making out how great she is. And she's a bitch. And in this, she becomes a bitch and everybody realises it. And she gets arrested and sent off to Dodgy Island where they keep powered people. You
mean the raft?
Yeah. But yeah, don't get me wrong, it wasn't any good. It was just better than the second series. I'm not going to miss it. I will miss Daredevil, but I kind of got a theory as to why a lot of these things didn't work, because even with sort of like all the Marvel movies and everything, one of the most important things about a superhero, no matter who they are, what part of their identity is their fucking costume. And I know I harp back to this, but it still bugs me about Daredevil that Netflix took an entire fucking season to put him in the costume. And then second series, we had him in the costume. The second season was really good. Third season was good, but again, we took him out of the fucking costume. And I think that made a lot of people not watch it.
Right, okay, a counter-argument, Captain America. Yeah, Captain America, every opportunity they've got to get him out of that fucking costume, they do.
But in the major action, sort of action parts, he's in his costume
with his hat off.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It's still part of his identity. He still has
I'll
a
be honest
costume.
with you, the costumes that he's got is pretty much just it's a motorcycle get up.
Yeah, but
And
it's
that's
still
it.
it's still a costume, and you look at
Barely
I,
a costume. Compare it to Iron Man. Compare it to Thor.
well, yeah, but
Least costumey
we have
costume.
Fat Four in it. He did manage to squeeze into that costume. I don't know. I
I
mean, look,
prefer Fat Four.
I think that the fact that they insisted on having 13 episodes was always too long. I think 10 episodes would have been enough, and I think even Daredevil suffers from that. But I have to admit that I genuinely would say that Daredevil was the best out of all of them. I am gutted about Daredevil ending, but I'm not gutted about any of the others. I mean, yeah, look, I would like to have seen what happened to Luke Cage, but you kind of get that Luke Cage cameo at the end of Jessica Jones, so he's not gone completely to the dark side.
Your comment about the costume, I think, is probably.
I told you were going to call me a
Probably.
twat. I did warn you. I just
I like the
theorise
fact
that.
they've built up to the fact he needs a costume, and they built up to it.
Yeah,
Although,
but I think they could have
maybe
done that a lot
season is
quicker.
bit-
I think they could have done that a lot quicker, and I think that was one of Daredevil's not being able to capture the audience, which is a shame because season 2 and 3 were really very good.
So Danny Rand, for example, Iron Fist, he doesn't have a costume, does he?
No,
Yeah, he does have a costume, so he
In
couldn't
the
get up
comics
with
he
the yellow
does.
thing over the top. And you only saw
Not
him
straight
wear
away.
it. I don't
I've
think.
only seen the first season.
I don't think a costume makes a superhero. I think the deeds make superhero, and how they react, and then when it's not that, it's the bad guys that make the superhero. If you've got a decent enough bad guy, Jessica Jones, yeah,
season
first
1.
series, no costume against Purple Man, fucking brilliant.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. All right, didn't need a costume because the Purple Man fucking filled that gap
But
in.
it was good, but it wasn't what was promised. It wasn't Marvel, and I suppose that's partly why it didn't work, because people were expecting the same as the Marvel Cinematic Universe and insisting that it took part in the Marvel Cinematic Universe when it really didn't. I mean, even Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has given up that fucking thing after Endgame went and totally fucked everything. So, even that is now not, 50% of the universe has not disappeared in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And actually, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. again has been quite good this season. Genuinely, you are missing out. It's got better and better, and the last episode was really good. It was a really good episode, and with a quite amusing ending.
I'm up to episode 9, and I'm not.
No, Gareth,
Okay,
I'm not saying
right,
it's
hang on a
good.
second. It goes like this, yeah. The person who plays Patsy, who's supposed to be Hellcat, who's supposed to be the villain of the series, yeah. She's just irritating. She's not really.
Yes.
She's just obnoxious. She's not a villain, yeah.
I agree.
She's not a stereotypical mustache twirling villain. She isn't a master plotter. She isn't a religious fanatic. She isn't a tech genius or something that usually denotes a comic book villain. I think the problem you've got here is that Jessica Jones, just a TV series about a detective.
Yes.
That's it, and that's boring. When you want superheroes, because you want superhero-y things, right?
She's extra strong, but
Yeah. Luke Cage had trouble because his superpowers don't translate to anything really interesting on the screen. And then again, didn't really have fucking... He kind of had supervillain thingies, but he wasn't really like that. So I don't know what the fuck happened there.
Iron Fist could have been cool, but they fucked it up. Because
Iron Fist could have been cool. I love the fact that Daredevil got like kind of 12 months to get his shit together, and Danny Rand had like a month. He had like a month of fucking training, and wondering why it didn't quite work the same. Yeah, I would have been hiring like kind of proper fight choreograph people, and it would have happened. So the whole series would have happened, and then we'd have gone back and filmed the fights. Yeah, that's how I would have done it. I would have got some person in and would have filmed the fights in there, and you could have trained Matey Bob up in between. And the game comes back down to the villains. You've got some crying guy who's supposed to be the fucking opposite to Iron Fist in the Steel Serpent. Yeah, he sounds like a fucking dildo. He does. Get this new Steel Serpent 7-inch. So you've got that, and then you had the first series where you had what happened during the first series? They just had the board meeting people. Was there anything other than that? You had Madam...
the father, wasn't he? The father of Danny, sort of,
But he
brother
wasn't
and
like a
sister.
supervillain.
He couldn't die, could he? He kept being brought back to life every time he died.
That's it.
And then you had the Defenders, which was a bit of a fucking bollocks job.
Yeah.
They could have done that a lot better. They had the right material, but the execution was just dull.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only ones that worked out were, and the Punisher wasn't in it. They should have put the Punisher in it. Oh, we're doing the Punisher series. Then put the fucking Punisher in there. Have him at the end. Have them running out of a building, getting chased by like 100 of these fucking people, and all of a sudden you just hear bang, 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 bang as he's taking them out from the other side of the street because Karen fucking asked him to help out. Because they established that him and Karen have a relationship, and he would come out to help her if she asked, because that would work. And he just had to be in the last fucking scene. Yeah, and they had the opportunity to do lots of crossovers and whatnot. Every time they have a fucking Jerry Hogarth, I'm sorry, she was interested in season 2, and I just felt like I was wasting my fucking time every time I saw her on screen.
Yeah.
Jerry Hogarth's a fat, pot-belly, bearded lawyer who's supposed to be a bit dodgy, not a fucking lesbian. All right. So when you talk about cultural appropriation, you can have that one. That was a cultural misappropriation, we'll say. You can have that, but what's the point of having a lawyer in there when we have a clear lawyer in the Marvel universe that lives in Hell's Kitchen alongside Jessica Jones?
Yep.
You could have had Foggy. You could have had Thingy. That's one thing I did like about Luke Cage is they did have Foggy in it, and they did have what's his mush in it, Danny Rand in it. Danny Rand worked. They should have just done Danny and Luke Cage together.
Yeah,
that would have
Heroes for Hire.
That would have worked perfectly. They should have just done the one series of Jessica Jones. They should have done the one series of Punisher, and then they should have done 2 slots of the Defenders. Yeah, that's what they should have done. But they don't understand, because superheroes things is that you have your regular story, and then you have these bits that are amped up. So look at the Winter Soldier. Yeah, the Winter Soldier is a political thriller, but you have the amped up sections in it. So you've got Zola as the amped up section, and you've got the Winter Soldier as the amped up section, and Hydra as the bad guy. All fits inside the comic book universe, and what's his most? The Winter Soldier, proper physical threat, and Zola a proper antagonist in the shape of what's going on. Didn't have that in these series. You did in Daredevil. You had Punisher at the beginning of Daredevil, yeah, so, and you were a bit ambiguous about how you felt towards Punisher for Daredevil season 2. You had Fisk, the guy who played Fisk, fabulous, proper bad guy, and then you had the guy who played Bullseye. They all fit in that grouping. None of the others did.
No,
seriously,
you're right.
that's what went wrong, and that's it. It's not about the costumes. You can do it without the costumes as long as you get that bit in.
I think that was part of the problem. But go on, no, sorry.
The baddie in Jessica Jones first season, Dave Tennant.
Kilgrave. Yeah,
Kilgrave. Fucking frightening. Frightening baddie.
Proper supervillain.
Yeah, absolutely frightening. You would not want to be in her position or anyone else's who's up against him.
The annoying thing is they killed him off. It really pissed me off. And then in this, they had a beginning thing where she damaged her spleen, yeah, which would in turn damage her immune system, which would probably make her more susceptible to the Purple Man. Which, if they hadn't have killed him off, they could have used and brought him back. It would have been good, but no. They should have had it so he had his neck broken, but he didn't die. And he's Xaviering it around in the world.
He's
Xaviering
it around. Interesting, we are getting a Winter Soldier TV series, or part Winter Soldier series. So, we'll see what that does. I don't know. I genuinely don't know if these are going to be any good. I am really looking forward to the Loki series, because I think that might be quite good, especially with Loki travelling through time. That does sound interesting.
Can we have him travelling through time drunk?
Well, it's going to be Loki. I mean, but I'm up for that. I'm genuinely up for that.
Do you think it'll be on this new Disney Channel thing?
Yeah, they're all going to be on the Disney Channel. They're using that to launch it.
My issue I had with these series we're talking about, the Marvel ones on Netflix, was we really liked the Iron Fist one, me and the missus, and we wanted to watch the second season. We started it and went, I've got a feeling we've missed something. So we had to try and figure out which part of the crossovers and whatnot Danny's been in, which had furthered the plot for season 2, and I have no idea.
Danny's in one episode of Luke Cage second season, which is really good. It's probably the best episode of Luke Cage ever.
We saw that one. It's where Luke Cage comes up against Danny, don't they? Have a little fight.
No,
and it's the first time.
No, that's in the Defenders.
Is that
Defenders?
You see, yeah, I'm all confused as to which one we should watch in order to carry on.
Get Iron Fist season 1, then you get the Defenders, then you get the episode in Luke Cage season 2, then season 2 of Iron Fist.
So you should watch the Defenders before you watch Luke Cage.
Yes, second season.
Don't they meet in
second
Defenders
series, yeah.
then?
Yes.
They do meet in the Defenders, but it takes them like 3 episodes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it's at the end of the second episode, they actually meet, but they don't talk to each other until the 3rd episode. Yeah. It's madness. It should
so why are they fighting at Luke Cage?
Because they're both convening on this dodgy warehouse, but they're both investigating the same crime, but from different aspects, and they both confuse.
And
each
his
other
explanation would be fantastic, I would imagine, but he's lost internet.
He's gone derp-faced.
I'm sure his explanation was going to be fantastic, full of stories, and was going to explain a lot.
Yeah. I imagine that. I imagine he would have had what we describe in the industry as big dick energy.
Big D.
Big dick energy. Yeah, he'd have used all his big dick energy to put across his opinion.
I can see his
record the explanation.
Masturbating to get power back.
I did record the explanation.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I didn't hear it. So we watched the first episode of Luke Cage season 2, which is where they were both convening on the druggies, the drug gang, and they had Luke was following a kid who he knew, who he was trying to get out of the situation he's in, and Danny's following the gang from another angle, and then they come up against each other.
That was Defenders season, not Luke.
Oh, was that Defenders?
Yeah, that's Defenders.
But that was season 1, right? Episode 1, right?
Right. Defenders only has 1 season. So you've got Iron Fist season 1, then the Defenders came straight after Iron Fist season 1. And then there is 1 episode in Luke Cage season 2 where Danny Rand turns up, and it's a really good episode. It's like Danny Rand as Danny Rand should be.
Yeah. And the thing is, he makes Luke Cage better too at the same time.
Yeah. Hence the reason why
they both work together as a whole.
Do you know what? What you've said there actually reminds me that we said exactly the same with Supergirl when Barry Allen was alongside her, and they sort of bounced off each other and made it so much better.
That's because the 2 actors and actresses, or the actor and actress, have chemistry with each other. They've been in other stuff before. Together. They know each other, but the chemistry came out in that episode of Supergirl. Unfortunately, Supergirl has gone balls to the wall woke.
I have not watched. You know when they come back in January?
Yeah.
You know, they have a mid-season break. I know we've gone off the Marvel, but I've got it recorded. Supergirl, Arrow, and The Flash. I've got them all recorded from January, just sitting there waiting for me to sit and watch them all. Because, well, every time I see them on my planner, I go, maybe another time.
I'm kind of like Gareth here. The only thing that I've watched is The Flash. I haven't watched the end of Arrow. I'll probably watch the sort of what's its face next year, towards the end of the year, Crisis on Infinite Earths, where we know that Oliver's going to die. I mean this was the thing. They were really dumb to announce the end of Arrow, because they announced Crisis on Infinite Earths after the last crossover, so at the end of last year. And then they announced the end of Arrow after 10 episodes. Well, we know that mid-season is the is the Infinite Earths crossover. Well, they always do the crossover mid-season, so we know Oliver's going to die. And
I remember
the minute they did
doing...
that, it kind of ruined the Arrow for me, because they kept doing these future flash forwards where they were saying Felicity was gone and Arrow was dead and blah blah blah. It's kind of like, well, what's the point of me even watching it? And then Supergirl had gone full woke, and the only one that was really I watched to the end was the Flash. And now they're getting rid of my favourite character in the Flash by the looks of it. So fuck the Flash. I've kind of really.
Who's that? Is that
no, they're getting rid of Cisco. And I love Cisco. I kind of got a big fucking man crush on Cisco. And
him and his hair.
I thought you were going to say man boner for him.
Same thing, right?
I've got a big man boner for Cisco, says Keith.
As long as he brings his lady friend. What's her face?
I'll tell you what, his latest lady friend is hot.
What has he moved on from the time travelling lady?
Yes, he did. She dumped him, or he dumped her, or they dumped each other. I loved the fact that that was the great thing about that particular storyline, because of who played her father. I mean, that was just fucking brilliant casting. But
every time I see his face, I just think Machete.
Yeah, Machete. I love those movies. I fucking love those movies.
Okay, all right.
I'm seeing the parallel.
I think we should move on to Men in Black International, because Nigel, being the fastest man alive, has watched Men in Black International. Yeah.
Yes.
How was it?
Well, I saw parallels with the very first Men in Black with Will Smith, where they have little girl sees an event that she shouldn't really see or understand because she hasn't been zapped with memory wiper or whatever they call them, and then tries to track down MIB and then becomes part of the organisation. That's exactly what Will Smith did.
Yeah, but they've
copied it. They've copied the storyline.
Well, no, they didn't. Will Smith followed an alien and tried to work it out. But he didn't see it when he was a small boy. No.
They've taken the same storyline. They've just changed it a bit.
I would argue that a little bit, but
I would argue against you, considering the box office numbers.
You like to argue against me, whatever. Even when I say, if I say the sea is blue, you will say no, it's not, it's pink, just to fucking argue.
Well,
with me.
No, technically the sea is actually clear.
It's devoid of colour, Keith. Thank you.
Just literally take a glass of it out, and it's not blue, is it?
See, my fucking point.
It's because you're wrong. So, yeah, I saw that right. It was so obvious right at the start that her saving little cute thing, and the guys outside, the MIBs outside, saying it transfers into a fucking nasty thing. You knew it was going to come back later in the show, and well, it did, and so forth. It was alright. I think the chemistry between the two main actors, Chris and the girl who I can't remember her name,
Tessa Thompson.
H.
H&M, you mean? At the store.
I've seen her before. What was she in?
Westworld.
Thor Ragnarok with...
Thor Ragnarok. Yeah.
Oh, they were together.
Chris
yeah,
Hemsworth,
okay.
Yeah.
That's why
and
they've got chemistry.
Infinity
Avengers Endgame.
Or Endgame or whatever it is.
She was in Endgame as well. Yeah.
And that's why I like their chemistry. So they've been in a few things together. It was good. I quite like their chemistry. The plot was a little boring, but
I did like when she first walked into MIB right at the beginning. And my wife was really pissed off because in the trailer they made out that the dog was in it a lot more, and he's in that one fucking short scene. And she come out, and she was, where was? She goes, it was. She enjoyed the film, but she was really pissed off. She felt conned because she wanted to see more of the talking dog.
Yeah, I thought when she was just confidently strolling in, I love the fact she just hailed a taxi and went follow them, and she just strolled in. Yeah, you're right. Says some stuff, and the dog's like, "Yeah, you're gonna call us in, mate." Yeah, call her in. But it didn't. thing is, with Will Smith's one, number one, he went through a whole training exercise thingy that she didn't have to. Suddenly she was top of the class or whatever. You know, she was getting 93, 94% on whatever they were testing her on. They don't even show it, and you're meant to buy it. But up till then, she hadn't really done anything to prove that she is as intelligent as she is.
But this is modern Hollywood, Nigel, and it's not as bad in this as it is in Captain Marvel. If you haven't seen Captain Marvel, go and watch Captain Marvel, and you'll forgive this film. Really, you will.
Yeah, I know. I've got nothing against the character. I thought she played her well.
Look, it's the worst. Yeah. I would say this is. I still think this is better than Men in Black 2 because I'm not a fan of Men in Black 2, whereas I'm a big fan of 1 and 3. I like 1 and 3 because I liked Josh Brolin's take on a younger Agent K, which I thought was really good. And yeah, I like that worked for me. This it's okay. It was an entertaining 2 hours. I didn't come out of it thinking, I've been why have I wasted 2 hours of my life? I was entertained for 2 hours, so it did what it said. What is it? The greatest movie on the? No, it really isn't. If I could, I sit here and nitpick and pull it apart very easily, but it entertained me, which a lot of movies these days fail to do because they are pushing agendas. Whereas this, I think, is just following Hollywood trends rather than trying to push any agenda.
Yeah, it didn't look like agenda was being pushed, although
this is trying to just keep the Twitterati at bay, basically, because, apparently you make one comment on Twitter these days and the whole world is over.
Yes, didn't you know this? Yeah, okay. I see what you mean. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more about the early Eiffel Tower stuff.
Yeah, agreed.
I would have liked to have seen a little bit more about that. But then it was obvious that something was up because whenever it was referred to, he repeated the exact same line every single time, and she sort of clocked on to that, which I liked. I liked the fact she clocked onto it.
I've got one question for you.
Yeah.
Did you know before going into this film that it had Liam Neeson in it? Because I didn't.
No.
I reckon they've changed after Liam did what Liam did. Well done, mate. Do you think they changed all the marketing? Because going into that film, I had no fucking idea Liam Neeson was in it. They made no sort of kind of thing that Liam Neeson was in this film. Had Liam Neeson not done what Liam Neeson had done, I think more people would have gone to see this because they would have marketed it as Liam Neeson's in it.
I don't think I know what Liam Neeson has done.
Dude, seriously? You have no idea? Where the fuck were you a few months back? It's like, it was, seriously, mate, it was on every news channel everywhere in the world.
I typically turn off the news because they're only talking about fucking Brexit, and I hate it.
No, this was everywhere, Nigel. This was like everywhere. The guy turned around and said, right, okay, in brief, Nigel, I will give you what Liam Neeson did. Yeah. Okay. Liam Neeson tried to start a conversation in the worst possible way because, 10 years ago, maybe, but not now. He basically admitted that his friend got raped by a black man, and he admitted to walking the streets with a kosh in order to beat up random black people.
Yeah, that rings a bell.
Yeah. Well, you can imagine the storm that came up around that one.
Shit, yeah, I remember. Yeah, no, I remember now you mention it.
Yeah.
Fucking, I'd completely forgotten about that.
Yeah.
No, I understand why it hasn't been marketed. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's part of the reason why this movie has flopped. I think it's given an unfair thing that lots of people have been attacked because I watch a lot of YouTube videos, as you know. I watch a lot of nerd erotic people, and there's a nerd erotic Facebook group, and loads of people have attacked this movie. And I actually went, "Have you actually watched this film?" No, because it's really woke. I said, "It really fucking isn't." I said, "When you watch this and you watch Captain Marvel, you kind of go, Yeah, okay, no. There's just no fucking competition between the two. And that's what annoys me. This is what I was saying to, I think, you the other week, Gaz, where I was basically saying, the one problem with this anti-woke thing is when a film isn't woke or does one thing that really isn't wrong, you can be slightly progressive without being wrong. I mean, you look at Star Trek in the 60s, it had an interracial black kiss. That was a good thing.
Right, hold on. First things first, yeah? Kirk never kissed Uhura.
Yes, he did.
Watch it.
Oh, what?
Watch it. He never kissed Uhura. They played it to the camera, so her head went in his face, but he never kissed her.
Oh, they never actually showed the thing, but because again they couldn't show it.
But he never kissed her, so didn't really feature that. Implied it,
but you know what I mean. What I'm saying is that sometimes things like this are good, and we don't want to confuse that. That's my only concern. Now, don't get me wrong. I am
this is how it goes. This is how it goes. Yeah, these people, these annoying fucks who probably represent like fucking 2% of the entire fucking population of the civilized world, as I'll put it. And what they do is they push back just a little, and a little, and a little, and they keep doing it and doing it and doing it every time they can get away with as much as they can get away with it until you realise that you are fucking on the cliff's edge. Yeah? And people are aware of that. So any little pushback now, people want it shut down because they know if they don't shut it down now, they will keep pushing them back towards the cliff's edge. And it is little push at a time. One thing, another thing, another thing, another thing, another thing. And before you know it, you're about to fall off the edge.
No, you could be right, mate. I mean, you could very well be right. It's just, I'm worried about that. It does concern me that sometimes, I don't know. I do think sometimes things do have to change, but
yeah, but no, this goes like this. No one asked for this.
No, I agree. Gareth,
there was no fucking interest in this.
Oh
so,
yeah.
What?
Well,
so it doesn't matter if it's woke or not. No one was interested in it.
I think there was more interest in the 20...
No, there fucking wasn't. Look at the box office.
I would like to have seen the Jump Street Men in Black crossover. That could have been an interesting film. Because I kind of like 22 Jump Street. That's quite a funny film.
They'd have wasted a whole hour just neuralising themselves.
Yeah, but that would have been funny.
It literally would have gone, what's this do? Psh, I don't know. And then it's like, kind of, hang on a second, what's this thing? Psh.
There is room
just keep doing it.
Room for stupid films like that. I mean, I would like to. We were talking about this before we came on air. I would like to mention that Netflix has just launched Shaft, the third movie to be called Shaft, because the one in 2000 was also called Shaft. This one is called Shaft. There's no Shaft 3 or Shaft 2. It's called exactly the same movie as the one in 2000. Yeah. And there's a great thing here, because in Shaft in 2000, the original guy that played Shaft was meant to be Samuel L. Jackson's uncle. Now, in this, he turns up at the end, and they deliberately make a point, because he calls him Dad. He goes, "Oh, you finally, admitted to everybody that you're not my uncle, that you're my dad." That was like, oh, that was a little bit of a retcon there. But apart from that, it is the most anti-woke, anti-PC film I've seen in a very long time, and it's really fucking refreshing. It's really funny. I mean, every other word.
Is it a new one then?
Yeah, it's brilliant. Oh, Nigel, you're a big Samuel L. Jackson film. You will get a man boner over this film. You really will.
I thought they just re-released the old one. That's why I didn't watch it.
No, it's brilliant. I mean, I think it's Usher, isn't it? I think Usher plays. Basically, it's 3 generations of Shaft. It's you've got the original Shaft, then you've got Samuel L. Jackson's Shaft, and then Samuel L. Jackson's son, so John Shaft Jr. And generally, it's really good. I mean, it's not as good as the one in 2000, but that's because the one in 2000 had so many great one-liners. Yeah, this one doesn't have as many great one-liners, but it is funny. It is
okay.
Funny.
I don't want to sound rude or anything. We've gone from Men in Black to Black Men.
Yes.
But it's Shaft.
But it is
Not
Shaft,
saying anything.
and it is cool. It's so
I do
cool,
love the
this
Shaft
film.
theme tune.
And at the end, when they're all in the same fucking long jacket, crossing the road, dude, watch it. I fucking loved it. Really did. I really enjoyed it.
All right.
I'll try and
Okay.
watch Shaft soon. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
We should. What are we going to talk about? Are we going to talk about your thing first, or are we going to talk about Mr. Tom Holland?
Theme parks. Crikey, you didn't pay attention to the beginning. I've got a running order. I wrote it down.
Fair enough.
We can talk about theme parks because I like me a theme park. Theme parks fun. Theme parks are fucking awesome. We're talking about
I'm
Disney.
partial for one.
Yeah. Nice wishes he's going on holiday with me this year rather than his wife and kids.
Although we're gonna do an adventure to some Chinese theme park while we're in Shanghai rather than Walt Disney in Shanghai.
Just remember, British safety standards and US safety standards are a lot higher than Chinese.
Do not apply.
If you find you'll probably find like a carbon copy of some of the rides that you've been on. It's like I swear I've been on this ride before. So I'm going to Florida in late August, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I've been looking at the parks and stuff, and I saw a bit of news pop up about Galaxy's Edge Disneyland in California about it being empty, because you'd expect it to be absolutely fucking rammed, but apparently it's not. People aren't really that interested in it outside those who booked tickets and whatnot to go in. There's not much in there. There's a ride, a thing to get your lightsaber, and then outside that's it.
There's the build a droid thing, but no, there isn't, and the price is ridiculous.
You've got build a droid shit all over. You've got that other stuff like that all over the park for different things, and they're not popular. And we can tell you that from first-hand experience. Those things, they like them because they're money makers and whatnot. So yeah, it doesn't look very popular, and I think it's down to the fact that it's the new trilogy and not the old trilogy. It's like the people going, "Oh, there are nods to the old trilogy in there," and Keith said, he goes, "Oh, there are the snow troopers in there, and they're not. They're the salt troopers," ironically, from that film that we no longer talk about because it doesn't exist in our mind's eye. If we had that weapon from what do you call it, Voyager, that could erase something from existence, or the Inquisitor's gauntlet from Red Dwarf, which can do the same.
Do you know what? If they've not got a drink dispenser out of that fucking cow that the Jedi milked himself from, they're missing a trick.
Even if we had the Infinity Gauntlet, the only thing I'd wipe out is Ryan Johnson.
Do you know what? I was thinking about sci-fi ways of removing Ryan Johnson, and one of them is to use the Inquisitor's gauntlet from Red Dwarf, because what happens with that is it resets the timeline quite neatly, but leaves him behind so we can delete his physical form. It's a polite way of putting it. And dude, I spent a good couple of days trying to delete his physical form with some sharp objects.
The article, I think you could be on.
That's a joke, guys, by the way.
It's funny.
Deleting his physical form?
No, I was there. Your article's an interesting one because it mentions. I think you're onto something. There is only one ride open, but there is meant to be this like 18-minute long Rise of the Resistance ride that is coming, which does sound interesting.
Yeah, that's the problem, because people go to theme parks for rides primarily.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, because
minutes.
you guys have been to Disney, and I've never done. I mean, the only thing I've ever really done, sort of the American theme park side of things, is Universal at Singapore, but the Millennium Falcon ride doesn't really look that good. It's like, it almost looks like other rides that have always been around. It doesn't look like they've done anything new, really, other than that you're in a Falcon. I mean, you know, it looks like you're sitting in something, and you get to. Does it move? Is it like a simulator thing, or is
yes, it does move. Yeah, it's on a gimbal.
It does move. It is on a gimbal.
Yeah,
but we've been into things like that. I mean, those things have been around for years.
Well, you've got the Star Tours ride, which is on a gimbal.
The Transformers ride is a bit like that, isn't it?
It's a mixture, because it's on a gimbal and it's going through it's not on a gimbal, it's on a mount, and it goes through the thing. So yeah, that looks good in 3D.
I was in fits of laughter when I went on the Transformers ride, because when Bumblebee turns up, my wife just suddenly went, "Oh, hello!" And then Optimus turns up. She went, "Oh, thank you, Optimus." Of course,
It's not
we did
interactive
that.
love.
she got her own back
See,
on me because I absolutely shat myself on the mummy ride. I mean, I literally. I don't do that.
Dude, the one in Universal in Florida, the last bit where they set the ceiling on fire.
Yeah, they did that.
Dude, that is hot
Really
as
hot.
fuck.
Yes.
Dude,
I
it's
tried
like,
doing that in
this isn't
Singapore
fake.
when it's
This is
35 degrees outside, and it felt hot. Gee, yes, no, I know exactly what you mean. Because I suppose it's the same in Florida, actually, come to think of it. It's probably
Yeah,
the
yeah,
same.
it
No,
was
the
quite warm
building's,
when
the
we
building, the building's air conditioned, mate. The whole building.
Yeah, come to think of it, I think it's probably similar
It's
temperatures
America.
in Florida.
It's America, Keith. They try and air condition the outside if they could get away with it.
Yeah, the same in Asia.
And I'll be honest with you, they're probably the only nation in the world that could actually succeed at that. That sounds so saying that. Actually, I know that. Right, Nigel, remember we went on that tour in Animal Kingdom, and we went past the rocks, and the lions were on the rocks. Yeah.
Which
do you know?
tour?
Do you know what the tour, the Animal Kingdom one? We went on
The
like a safari one where we
safari.
saw a load of animals. Yeah.
Yeah.
You had the lions, and they're all sitting on the rocks, and it's like amazing that they managed to get the lions sitting on the rocks. Do you know how they do that?
They put meat on it. I don't know.
It's air conditioned. If they lay on the rocks, it's air conditioned. Everywhere else isn't. So they're like laying on it because it's nice and cool and comfortable.
Oh, so the rock is a fake rock and it's
Air
just
conditioned.
cooled down.
So they're always there. So when you have the tour, they're sitting there chilling out on the rock.
That is
It's
actually quite
amazing. I was
clever.
like, oh, you bastard.
That is actually
Clever.
quite
Yeah.
clever. Yeah.
That is clever. I'm looking forward to going on the Pandora ride that was being built when we were there,
Yeah.
which
I
was
would-
the.
I would
Flights
be
of
more
Passage
excited
one.
for that.
I'd like to go to Galaxy's Edge just to walk around the Millennium Falcon, but I'm really not interested in much of the other stuff because I don't. You know, as we've sort of discussed recently on the podcast, my only movie that I really like out of all the new ones is Rogue One, which is set in the Star Wars universe that I grew up with, not the Star Wars universe that we're seeing with the JJ and He Who Shall Not Be Named. And one day we will invent a weapon that removes him from history.
I do think that JJ fucking can't stand him.
Oh, yeah.
I've got
The two
I'm
of them.
sure he was throwing shade at him on Twitter. I have no idea why that guy's still employed. My money, the only reason I know why he is where he is that I reckon he's shagging Kathleen Kennedy.
What, JJ or Ryan Johnson?
Ryan,
Yeah, probably.
the only way. Seriously, he must be
If this-
great in the sack for all the trouble he's putting through.
But people
Or
staying
she
away.
just can't get anyone else.
People staying away from Galaxy's Edge is a good thing because it might send a final message to Disney that you've got to change. You have got to stop this bullshit. And you've got to get rid of Kathleen Kennedy because she's fucked it. You know.
Well, you know the story behind that is they haven't got rid of her because they can't. Because Bob Iger tells Rick, if I could fucking fire you, I would, but no one wants the fucking job because you ruined it. That's how bad it is.
Poison chalice.
But saying that, what we could do, is the three of us could put in for Kathleen Kennedy's job. The three of us, alright? For the same wages, because I imagine she's on a couple of million a year. Or maybe
I'd do a
say
third
3
on
million a
that.
year. Yeah, $1 million each a year. Fantastic, And final say-so will be settled by a fight in the car park, which the staff can watch. They get entertainment. We get to decide what's going on in the Star Wars universe, and everything turns out fine.
Well, I think we can all agree that the
yeah.
first thing we would do is fire Benny, what's his face, the Game of Thrones guys. You
Yes,
will never work
yes,
in
we
Hollywood
would.
again, you bunch of fucking assholes.
The first thing I'd do is I'd probably get Jon Favreau and tell him and say, right, you're doing me a Star Wars film. Because you started off the MCU, you're starting off the Star
But he is
Wars
doing.
franchise.
But Jon Favreau
No
is
pressure.
doing the Mandalorian.
Oh no, I'm not the Mandalorian shit. I'm talking about a proper film, and I sit there and say, Dave Filoni, you are the lore keeper. You're the
the
person
guy that
who
did
makes sure
Rebels.
everything
Oh,
is
fuck
Yes.
yes.
You're the lore keeper. You're the person who makes sure everything is fucking consistent across. So if I sit there and say it's this, and you go, no, it doesn't work like that, and I go, really, Dave, explain, and he'll explain. And I go, all right, fair enough. You're right.
Here's the thing. I don't know if you guys would agree. I'd bring back the Obi-Wan movie because I think that could actually genuinely be interesting.
No. Do you know what you want to do? Skywalker film. You want Mark Hamill in a Skywalker film. If they're sitting there going, "Oh, we're worried that Mark Hamill would steal all the scenes," give him his own fucking movie.
Yeah.
Seriously. The downside is that if the three of us took that job, one of us would probably have to suck him off. My money's on Keith. What do you say, Nigel?
I agree.
It's
would.
done. You're sucking off Mark Hamill. So
I don't know. Nigel's impressive. Nigel's impressive beard could tickle his balls in a nice way. You know, that beard, that could tickle the balls nicely, mate.
Sometimes people just need bigger cheeks.
Good comeback.
But,
Good comeback.
Isn't that right,
well,
Keith?
as I said, the three of us could do that job for the same price as one Kathleen Kennedy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Seriously, we'd even share a house if it got down to it.
As long as I've got my own room.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But yeah, the three of us could do that. I'd love to do merchandising because I'd get Todd McFarlane in and say, look, your comics are shit, but your fucking action figures are awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we need something realistic on the action figure front. And he'd then tell me you can only sell about 10,000 of these worldwide. Then we're only selling 10,000 of these worldwide. Yeah, it's weird that people aren't going to the Galaxy's Edge thing. They're building a new Tron Legacy ride from a film that didn't succeed at all. I'd like the film because it had a fabulous fucking soundtrack and a style to it, which I really enjoyed.
I quite like Tron.
I
like both Tron films. Yeah, they're both.
Yeah,
really
Tron
quite
Legacy.
good.
Yeah.
I can't really remember the original Tron.
If you haven't seen it, Nige, go back and watch it. It's a really good film. Very ahead of its time.
I've seen the original one. I probably have, but you know, it's so long ago. I could watch it again and
it's worth it.
Be wowed by it. You know,
it's good.
I definitely haven't seen the new one.
The new one's good.
Definitely.
The new one's good. I like the new one. Okay, all right. There's lots more theme park stuff I want to talk about. How good the fucking Hulk ride is, and the Spider-Man ride, despite what your wife says, Nigel, is better than the Transformers ride. It has that bit where you're falling down the side of the building, which is fucking awesome.
Well,
and
of course it's going to be
Doc
better.
Ock tries burning your face off.
It's got Spider-Man in it.
Apparently, there's a new Harry Potter ride. I'm not sure where that is, though.
That's the
Universal?
Haven't they got like
That
two
looks really
Harry
good.
Potter bits, but they're completely in different areas of the park?
You have like Hogwarts in one side of the park, which is Islands of Adventure, and then you have the Universal Studios bit. I can't remember what that is. I think it's called Universal Studios, and you take a train from
Diagon
Hogsmeade to Diagon Alley and vice versa.
Yeah, that's it.
Clever.
And it's a good train journey, actually. Really interesting.
Yeah. You get attacked by Dementors, and the great thing is, it's a different train journey in different directions.
Yeah,
because we tested that. So we tested that to see if it was that was the case. It's like,
so does it take you into platform 9 3/4? Does it?
Yep.
Clever.
Yeah. Do you know the funny thing that really gets me? Yeah, is the fact that it is an old British Rail fucking carriage. We got on it. It's like, I remember using these as a child.
Yeah.
And it was like,
really,
oh my
really
God.
well done.
Yeah.
That's clever.
When
actually.
you got
I see the point of it now.
When you arrive at Hogsmeade, you come out and turn right, essentially. You've got your little shops that are just like in Hogsmeade, where you can buy your butterbeer and all that sort of stuff. And then there was a ride to your right, which Gareth loved, called Dragons something.
It was the Dragon's Duel, and it was originally another ride, but they
I didn't
redid
get
it.
to go on that one.
You did it. You did one ride on that. You did.
I can't remember.
The blue one. It's like Nemesis.
Nige,
Right,
Nige,
yeah.
you know how you don't remember all these things? Are you a secret stoner?
I wish. That would at least explain something. Then they've changed that one, haven't they?
I was gonna say, yeah, that's the one they got rid of, and they put the Hagrid's magical escape.
That looks quite good.
So apparently
that looks quite good.
It's meant to be quite good, yeah.
It has a 13 style drop in it. So now in 13 in Alton Towers, where you go into that room and then all of a sudden it just goes poof and drops you, and then you start shooting backwards. It has that in it. I love the fact that they went, because 13 was the first ride in the world ever to have that. Yeah, because that's the Alton Towers usually pay out to have the firsts. And they said, oh no, it was first in something in Busch Gardens. And it was like, that was like fucking 13 was like back in like 2002. your one's like kind of 2015. It's not the same.
I liked 13. 13 was a good ride. Talking back to Universal, you do have a little Hagrid ride on a just going round.
The
really simple one.
No, yeah.
Hippogriff. It's not that one we're talking about. And next to it, you go into the castle, don't you? Hogwarts.
Yes,
you go into Hogwarts, and you're on the not the brooms. It is brooms, isn't it?
Yeah, you're on brooms. I can't remember what it's called. It's not called broomsticks, but we always refer to it as broomsticks.
It was great. That really huge domed screens, and you're moving up and down in them, and really, really good, that one, I thought. Kieran wasn't too bad either, especially at the end of the day.
And then next, what I find really weird next to it is you've got Jurassic Park. Yeah. And you've got that big fuck off gate, and then as you go through it, it's playing the music.
Oh, I love that.
The problem is I had to wait there for you guys because I popped out for a cigarette. Yeah. So I went out to have a cigarette. I'm sitting there smoking away by the Jurassic Park gate because you can get light from it because it's got the burning torches. Joke. And I had to listen to that like for 5 minutes straight. It's fine when you walk into it. Yeah. But if you're just standing there for 5 minutes listening for 5 minutes straight, you go...
Yeah, it does get irritating when you're queuing up for the ride. Because the one at Singapore is very similar. It's not quite as long. But thing is now, every time I watch Jurassic Park, I can't get that fucking robot chicken sketch out of my head. Have you seen it? It's like 1 Velociraptor, 2 Velociraptor, 3 Velociraptor. And like the third one doesn't come in time. 3 Velociraptor! And it was the same thing at the park. Because like you come through this bit and there's like this Velociraptor jumps out. I went 1 Velociraptor! And another one jumps out and 2 Velociraptor! And there's like no more. And I knew about it because I'd seen the video on the ride. So it's like, I was like, 3 Velociraptor! What the fuck is the third Velociraptor?
Yes.
Easily entertained.
The trouble was, the people that we were with, me and my wife were with, one of them went, I know that sketch, Robot Chicken, right? I went, yeah. I love Robot Chicken. I'm a big fucking fan.
I have to check to see. I have to check to see what they've done with that ride because apparently they've closed it down, but they haven't closed it down. So I'm assuming they just relabeled it Jurassic World. So I have to check on that.
I think they're redoing
it was a water ride, that one, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I think they're redoing it for as Jurassic World.
Probably.
Yeah, I've read that. But
I think when we went...
I was going to say, in Singapore, it's still Jurassic Park. It's still Jurassic Park.
I think when we went, Jurassic World was about to come out, or just come out. It was 2016. So... Jurassic World had probably just been out, so it makes sense, seeing as there's been another one since then, that they would redo it a little bit, maybe update it a touch. But it was a decent one. I liked walking through the gates and going into the command centre.
The visitor
centre in there. The visitor centre.
The visitor centre, because it's the same as the visitor centre in the film.
Yes, I just walked in and went, yeah, I like this, and I think. Could have been you or the wives and kids were inside doing stuff. I just went and stood in the entrance of the visitor centre going, yeah, this is my childhood, man. I remember seeing Jurassic Park and just seeing this, and I was just thinking, do you know what? It would be amazing if they obviously got this one, which is a fully functioning ride, but like a entrance. It would be great if they did one right next to it, which is desolate and fucked, like when they went back in the second one, and they go to the in the second film they go to the visitor centre and it's overgrown with shit.
That's Jurassic World, dude.
And no,
Lost World was
number 2.
Nope. Lost World
number 2.
Lost World is on Site B.
No, he's talking about the second Jurassic World.
Jurassic Park
film.
No,
Jurassic Park.
He's talking about the second Jurassic Park film, and it's not. It's in Jurassic World when you go back to the visitor centre.
There was Site B. Yeah, they should have that nearby so you can fucking go around.
Site B would be quite cool. Yeah.
Yes, Site B.
And on that, we will now swiftly move on to Tom Holland being accused of ruining Avengers.
I'm going to get into a rant about this because, do you know how much this has pissed me off? I mean, seriously, Nige,
Is it to the fact where you're going to start wobbling up and down?
No,
Nigel.
I'm going to, oi, Birdseye, get your fucking harpoon out because we're going to go and hunt some dickheads. Because, oh, Jesus. Why is this... This is what I hate about Twitter. Twitter should be shut down. This is because Twitter gives dickheads like this a fucking voice. Seriously, this guy had a go at Tom Holland for spoiling Avengers Endgame. Seriously, if you have not seen Avengers Endgame, fuck off, crawl under the hole that you came out of, and shut the fuck up, because you're the only cunt on the fucking planet that hasn't seen it. Oh, it wound me up this week that these people have even got a voice. But basically, if you haven't heard this, some guy had a go at Tom Holland because Tom Holland talked about Tony Stark dying. And this guy had a go at him going, don't spoil it. Oh, there you go, Tom Holland, spoiling it again. Right, the fucking Spider-Man trailer fucking talks about Tony Stark dying. What the fuck? And that was out a month and a half ago.
Yeah. The trailer was he's sitting on a roof, isn't he? And there's like a mural or something, and
a mural.
A mural.
Did you say a mural? There's some old lady up there going, "Oh, didn't you know Iron Man's dead?"
I used to know a mural.
That's actually my grandma's name, Muriel.
Oh, young man!
I love that one.
Oh, young man! That Iron Man, he was a lovely young man.
I liked him. I did.
Oh, young man!
Just love the idea of an old lady up there just talking to him randomly. Are you Spider-Man? Do you know Thor? Wink, 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 wink. Because
Timber
I can be ill on Thursdays. Wink, wink.
Oh, damn it. They should bring back Harry and Phil's randy old ladies. They were amazing.
Oh, they would never... BBC in its current form would never let Harry Enfield or Little Britain or anything of its ilk back. Not even Monty Python. Yeah. And that means that the BBC is dead.
No more silly walks, I'm afraid.
Yeah, because comedy was the best thing they did. And now they don't care. They just want to fill diversity quotas rather than entertain people.
Beating his bush.
Anyway, yes, Dan TDM. I watched Dan TDM. I didn't do it intentionally, by the way.
I have no idea.
Kind of turned up.
Right, okay. There's a YouTuber that the kids all love, and his name's Dan TDM, and apparently he's YouTube's richest YouTuber.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently he is. Yeah, he's got like 80-something million in the bank.
Fucking got more money.
I don't know, because PewDiePie says that they've got his earnings down incorrectly.
Yeah,
so Dan was... It was in a BBC article. So if you can find the BBC article, then you'll see that Dan TDM... this was end of last year, I think. It may have changed since then. It may be T-Series now.
Don't know.
But yeah.
I'm searching for an article, and I'm trying to see what the date is.
But the long and short of it is Dan TDM had a big live show. And we took my son to go and see it because he loves Dan TDM, and I went there, and it was okay. It kind of felt a bit like Games Master, and I wish they would have just gone down. I wish he would have just gone balls deep in the Games Master kind of way of doing it, because what it was
yeah, you're right. Actually,
he is
2019. Richest YouTuber is Daniel Middleton, aka Dan TDM. $16.5 million. And he's got 19 mil subs.
Is he a Yank then?
Oh, he's on 23.
No, he's
He's English.
Wow.
He's from Harrow, where all the Japanese tourists wind up.
That was my joke.
No, he's not from Harrow.
That was my
Harrow.
joke.
Okay, I'll take you there.
Actually, he's
stealing my joke.
Dude Perfect, who I like to watch because they do trick shots all the time, is in third place with 14 million, and they've got 31 million subs.
Wow.
Yeah, that's Markiplier, 12.5 million, and he's got 20 mil subs.
PewDiePie says he's worth about 28 million. So
who has?
PewDiePie says he's worth about 28 million, which I can believe, considering he has almost 100,000 subscribers.
Well, Felix...
But YouTube...
Yeah,
Schellberg Yeah, he took.
is 12.5 mil according to this, but I
No,
can't see
no,
a date on it.
He looked at that article and went, "That's not right. I've got at least double that in the fucking bank." Because he was like, "This is not." Because he sells lots of stuff outside YouTube. So anyway, Dan does this stage show outside YouTube. He splits the audience up into three. Asks you to wear red, yellow, or blue, and you've got like the wolves, the bears, and the talon, the flying eagle people. And then you have these people go up on stage and they pick people from the audience and they play games alongside them. And you have to root for your team and everything, yeah? Apart from, at the end, my team got stiffed. Alright? The blue team lost, like, all the way up until the end. Yeah? And our team won everything up until the end. We were absolutely creaming the fucking competition. We get to the end, yeah? We came last. And the reason we came last is because the guy who was playing for our team had to suicide. He was suiciding himself to deduct points so they could get it right. And then they called the timer after. Fucking, what do you call it? A travesty.
Fix.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like Liverpool. Like they're 4-0 up, so they score 5 goals against themselves. That's what it was like watching. So they'd lose by a goal. Against fucking Wolverhampton Wanderers. That really grated on me. Dexter loved it. Annoyingly, they had you've got those big foam fingers, but they had like big
foam
kind
thing,
like these big like foam diamond things that they were holding up. The downside, the kid in front of me was getting really excited, and she was waving her hand up in the air, and it was blocking my fucking view. And I really wanted to just put it down, love. Then again, it's like we're not here for my enjoyment. We're here for Dexter's and the children's enjoyment. And then, so they had the competition, which was great, and they set it up, and they had like little story things and explaining about each faction and whatnot, and how there was a missing faction and all of that. And then it got to the end, and then I watched Dan TDM play Super Mario Maker 2 for 15 minutes, which was weird. And it was just like, okay. I was kind of enjoying it up until then, and now it feels a bit odd.
You just sat and watched him play a game?
Yeah.
What game again?
Super Mario Maker 2. I don't think it's out. It might have just come out.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's got some controversy in its own right, because you're not allowed to play with friends. Online.
You're not allowed to play with
Yeah, they've disabled that.
Why?
So you can't like have private forums with... so I can't build a level on that. If you and me had the game, I can't build a level on that and get you to come and play it easily. And apparently Nintendo have said it's all to do with world rankings. Like they don't get hacked, because Splatoon 2's world rankings didn't get hacked at all, did it, Nintendo? Several times over, Nintendo. But apparently Nintendo don't want people, because then you can't, like, coerce your friends into ranking you up.
Okay, oh well.
Quite controversial,
that's fine by me.
But you spent. Where was this? Where did you go and see him? Was it
Friday evening, Wembley Arena? Nigel texted me before we walked in, so I couldn't fucking reply. So it was, it was one of those ones where it's like, oh, okay, fair enough. And I just sat and watched it, and it was all right. I spent ages queuing to get some food because it's just. Madness there. They charged me a fucking ridiculous amount of money for it.
They always
do.
2
hot dogs were like fucking 20 quid.
Jesus Christ.
£21.
You can go and get them for
£21.
less than £1 in, what's his face? Costco or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Okay, alright. I got a bone to pick with Nigel. He didn't friend me on fucking Wizards United. I know you did friend me, You waited to friend me until I bitched and moaned at you.
Yeah, because when I sent over the codes, friend code or whatever it was, I actually sort of not played it very much at all since then, and so I hadn't checked it, and it doesn't give you a notification when you receive a friend request. So I only knew that Gareth had sent me a friend request just before we were about to start the podcast, and he probably sent it a few days ago or whatever. But it doesn't tell you unless you log in, and there's a little like number next to the friends bit on there. So yeah, that's a bit of a flaw with the game. There's many other flaws with the game. I said before, I don't think it's as good as Go. It's just reskinned. I, like you, expected the energy to replenish slowly over time, over 24 hours, like a lot of other games do. But they've used the exact same mechanic as Pokemon Go, where you can only replenish your Pokeballs by using Pokestops. So they've used that in the exact same way. So you can only replenish your energy by visiting what used to be Pokestops and are now greenhouses or inns. However, where in Pokemon Go you will always replenish your Pokeballs by going to a Pokestop or a gym, you won't always replenish your energy when you go to a greenhouse, because sometimes you just won't get energy from a greenhouse. You'll get fucking random ingredients which possibly you won't need. And also the gyms are now like these places where you can fight monsters and stuff, but you can't gain energy from them, which gyms in Pokemon Go you can. So they've changed it a little bit, but in my opinion not enough. And it's also potluck when you do get to go to an inn. If you do find an inn and you're not fucking surrounded by greenhouses, then it's potluck how many energy you get. It could be 2.
No. See,
or it could be 7.
You're talking about the spell casting on it, yeah? And I did the spell casting precisely. I pulled out a fucking stylus and did it with the stylus, yeah?
Yep.
It's the speed that counts.
It's the speed.
The speed
I've done
counts
it.
more.
I've had exactly the same. I've gone right, I'm going to trace this exactly. I'll go round, perfectly on there, and it's completely green, it's perfect. And it goes, that was fair. It's like, okay, so next one, and obviously it doesn't work, then you do it again, but fucking quick, as quick as you can. Like the letter E, for example, or an M, for, do it fucking quick. You're barely on it, and it goes, that was masterful. And you're going, no, it wasn't. That was shit, mate. That was worse than the last one. But it was masterful. Have you had it where you've got a very easy thing you're catching? Like, you get it's like a clock, and it tells you how easy they are by how near to 12 o'clock it is. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. I've had it so often where it's at 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock at easy level, and I'm not a low level. I'm not level 8 or 9 or whatever, which in this game isn't a low level, and you miss your first one, you'll get a masterful fucking spell cast, but then it goes, it's resisted you and disappeared. I'm like, what the fuck?
It does do that, but it tends to do it on the rarer ones. It's like, at the moment, it sounds a bit grim, but I've got one half of Ron Weasley.
Yeah.
Like he's been chopped up into pieces.
You've
into
got
4
one
pieces,
half
and I've got 2 of
of
them.
Ron Weasley.
Yeah.
That
You
don't
get
sound
fragments.
Yeah, you get fragments. It's weird because you'd expect it to give you the whole thing.
Yeah.
And you'd expect it to have everyone pretty much who'd ever been in Harry Potter and every monster that'd been in Harry Potter. Because that's how I would have done it. Just fucking thrown everything. But it's not. It seems a bit small.
Yeah, I've had it where I've had 3 incredibly easy things in a row disappear on the first cast with a really good cast, good to great cast. It get resisted and then disappears like straight off. I've had it 4 in a row, and I'm sitting there going, surely this isn't fucking right. There must be something wrong with the game, because it shouldn't happen that often. I started counting it, and I had it like 6 in 8 goes of it fucking resisting and disappearing. And I'm not playing against. I wasn't trying to catch anything difficult either. Oh, I'm level 9. I'm halfway through level 9. Yeah, it's more frustrating than it is anything because of that.
Yeah.
I do like the registry thing. I think it's a bit better than what you've got at Pokemon.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
that.
the organisation or the bits behind the background seem a little bit better organised than Pokemon. What house did you pick?
Let me have a look.
He should have picked Hufflepuff.
Why?
I don't know. What is that? Oh, I'm Gryffindor.
Okay.
But I think you can change it actually. What one are you?
Have a guess, Keith.
Slytherin.
Yep.
I didn't even need to guess on that one. he thinks
I don't know. I just picked the first.
No, you see, because Gareth, what Gareth sees in the mirror and what reality is two very different things. But
I don't know if you can just change it. See, look, I've changed.
Oh, cool.
So you can just change it.
Just a quick one. How long is your wand?
My wand is 11 inches, darling.
11 inches. Hang on a second. Let me check out.
And look, it's quite bendy.
Okay, all right. My wand is 14.5 inches.
You know it's not what you do with it. Have you selected it to be to be quite solid?
Mine's
Or is it unyielding?
God, if you could see these two bitches now fucking showing their face with their...
Oh no, to be fair.
No, I've got...
To be fair,
we're doing a podcast, guys.
Mine's solid. I've got a solid wand. I know we're doing a podcast, but we can still show each other it. A solid 14.5 inches.
Keith's is in this category, I would say. Surprisingly squishy.
Surprising. It's pushing rope, mate. I just found that funny because why the hell do you need to have like a length to your fucking wand? You can use it as a sword if you get in trouble.
It wasn't.
I don't know.
It was a thing.
I don't know. I just randomly pick. I don't think it seems to matter on anything really. I know you can choose your wood, and your core, your flexibility and your length, but it doesn't seem to have any bearing on what you're getting.
Yeah.
See, yeah. Now I've changed my house. My little guy
It's in green.
is now green, not red.
Ah.
So I don't know. I don't really know. Do you know? I think there's not much to it, this game, whereas Pokemon Go still feels like there's a lot more to it. It has been out for a while, but
there was a Pokemon store where I was today. It's the only Pokemon store outside of Japan, apparently. But that has a Pokestop, which has apparently unique Pokemon. Because they advertise it.
Oh.
Do they now?
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what I did see. In the town where I am, you've got an EE shop. And their EE shop is an inn.
Ah.
And you click on the inn, and there is advertisement within the inn in your game for EE.
Oh, they've done a deal, haven't they? Yeah.
So they've done a deal. So they're selling advertising space to retailers or whoever within the game.
Yeah, no, I got that too. That's quite obnoxious, I felt. Yeah, but I got that. Where did I get that? I was in Woking, in the Peacock Centre.
Yeah.
I got that in the Peacock Centre.
Just waiting for every inn you go to now to be, advertised space. But I don't know. Whereas before
Wizards need mobile phones. Because,
What?
Apparently Wizards need mobile phones.
Yeah.
Okay, alright.
Yeah.
Let's...
I don't know how long I'll play it for because it's not as good as Pokemon Go, in my opinion.
Yeah. I do want to try it in Universal to see if there's any cool shit that's in Universal that you won't find anywhere else.
Yeah, do you know
probably
what? Especially in when you're in near Diagon Alley and Hogsmeade, I think that would be an interesting thing to try.
Okay. All right. So let's wrap this bastard up and put a bar because I need to toilet. So it's goodbye from me. It's goodbye for him, and it's goodbye from him, and it's bye.
Bye.
Shut it down. Shut it down now.
Bye bye.
No, off.
No.
Off.
No. It's me that edits this fucker.
And then off.
So bye bye.
Off.
Bye.
Off.
Bye.
Off.
Thanks for downloading the Monkey Nut Punch podcast. You can follow us on Twitter @Monkey Nut Punch. You can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Monkey Nut Punch.